Aspinall, and I'm going to show you today how to make some art foamy art dolls. So I'm going to set the camera up and I'll be back in a minute. Hi, okay, we're back. First of all, go cover your table. If you're going to make this, you don't want to be doing this on your best dining table with nothing on, because the paint will seep through the cloth. So I've got freezer paper down. You could use plastic, anything, just to protect your surface. I've got this is poly cotton. It's in white, but my original doll, she was in cream and it worked perfectly okay. So I got 4 yards, which is a bargain, for $10 at Walmart. So rush out to Walmart. You're going to need paints. If you have fabric paints on hand, then please use those, because that would work as well. But I'm just using cheap folk art paints for this project. I'm not going to wash her, so and I think even if you washed it, it would stay in, but she's not washable. So I'm using these paints in bright colours. I've got the Good Hair stamp. I've got the Microcosm flower, which I just love the shape of. But you can use any stamps that you want to decorate her. You'll need paintbrushes. You'll need Snaz-on ink to print a face on. You're going to need some scraps. I have scraps of materials that I use on the back, some felt. You can use, if you see here, I've used a bit of ribbon with some what are these called, sequins sandwiched in. You can use little charms to hang from her, ribbon. You are only limited by your imagination. This is the time to go crazy, stick things on her. I was actually thinking about beading some beads on the end of her, so you can absolutely go crazy. But I'm going to show you the basics of mine, and then you can colour it and decorate it however you want. So let's get started. So I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to cut my material. You will need, let me measure. You will need probably 12 inches by, let's say 6 to be generous. But if you want to go crazy and make a load all in one time, then roughly that's the size that she is. But you can make a smaller body, a longer body. You can make her as big or small as you want. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so this is my original colour. I'm using that one first. So I've got two, it's double-sided. 2 pieces back to back. You might want to iron it if it's a little bit creased, but I might be okay with this. Oops, I've got strings all over my ink. Just see if I can get this cut properly. I want a good impression. And you could do this with acrylic as well. Test it out on a piece of paper. See if I can get a good impression. Yes, that'll do. Okay. Turn it that way. She's not going to have a very big body, so that's okay. And if you don't want the hair, you don't have to have the halo. You could just print the face and have it out there. Then I'm going to get a Sharpie and draw a body in. Go right down to the end. I can just go down to the end because I'm going to sew that up. I'm going to print, even though I am going to paint over these, I'm just going to put them so I can see the placement, and also make sure I colour them slightly different. Oh, that didn't work at all. Like I said, my ink is just, doesn't have to be a great impression. It's just so that I can see it. And don't worry about going over because you're cutting that part off. Okay, so I can see where I'm going to do it. I might do one more there. So I can see where I've got to paint. Hopefully your Snaz-on will be more juicy than mine is. I obviously need to go buy a new one. Okay, now I'm going to take this layer away now. I'll just move it back because I don't want that to get paint on. I don't want the paint to seep through to that. So that's important to remember, that you have got double side, so don't get paint on it. Okay, let me get my palette and get my brushes, and I need some roll to bring my brushes on, and let's go ahead and paint her. Okay, so the skin colour I'm using is a peach, but you can use, she can be any colour you want to make her. She can even have a bright green face. This is your art doll, and you can make her however you want. So, I've got some gesso. I'm going to put some gesso on my plate too. Now, because this is a cream coloured cloth, you could, if you want to get brighter colours, gesso it first. So that's what I did with the original. Because I'm using cream, I'm going to gesso first over the halo, because I know that's going to be a lighter colour, and over the face. And then I will let that dry just a little bit because I want it to blend in on the face. I've not worried so much on the halo because I want a solid colour. I'm just going to, and please take more time than I am. I'm trying not to go over the lines. And as you can see, I'm not watering it down. I'm trying to keep it as concentrated as possible. Right, now I'm going to put a bit on the face. In the areas I want a bit of highlight. Okay, but I might as well do the whole thing so I can get a nice bright. Now I'm going to paint the That's good coverage. Okay, while they're drying, I'm going to move it down slightly, and I just want to show you what I mean about your table, why you cover it. In fact, why I am doing this. I'm going to put a piece of copy paper underneath, and then if it just seeps through, I get some paper impressions that I can use for an art journal. Okay, wash my brush out. Now, I'm going to do, I did originally, what colour was I in the original? She was, my favourite colour, she was blue, this green and going into purple. I think I might try magenta this time. No, actually I'll do exactly the same. I'll do another one exactly the same so you can see how I blended the colours together. Okay. this pink, which is bright pink. I think this makes a really good cheek. A little bit more of the gesso. Just going to paint that into her face there. A bit at the top, a little bit down her nose, where her nose should be. Right. And then we're going to do some of this aqua. This is the Cabana stripe. Just going to put a little bit on the side of her face. Here, around here. I can fill in the details. Right, now we're going to add some of this colour to here. Just add some more layers of colour onto it. Give it a bit more. Now you don't have to do this. Oh, okay, my black's not quite dry. That's okay, it's giving me some pattern. So a bit more different. Let's do a bit of purple. And here, keep adding the gesso to lighten it up. I think I want a bit of yellow on her. So let's get a bit more gesso. The gesso's almost dried up. Ooh, there's a nice colour combination going on there. Go round and I don't mind if the colours all mix in. I think it helps. I use a little bit of yellow and blend that out. Oh, that looks good. That's a bit of yellow. Let's have a bit of yellow up here. That looks nice. I think I want a bit more colour on her hair. So I'm going to put a bit of yellow here on the halo, hair, whatever it is going to be. I think it's a halo, so I'm going to draw some hair in later. And I think I'm going to add a bit of orange. I think that will look really good. Just put a bit here. Random marks. That's quite cool. Let's add a bit more here. Actually, let's go round. Circle. Oops, I've got a bit of paint. I like that. And I want a bit on her hair. Blend this out. Need a bit of white to blend it out so it's not so gesso. It blends out a bit. Okay. Brush. A bit more white. Oh, that looks really cute. Okay, well, that's looking good. Right, just step back from that and see what other colours I think it needs. I need a little bit more bright whitening there. I don't like that the neck is so dark. So I'm going to add gesso there. I'm going to lighten it up a bit. In fact, I think I'm going to paint it out and redo it so I can get some more lighter in it. Yes, I like that better. blend this blue out a bit. I'm liking all this colour here, and I'm liking this bit. So when I put the stamps on, this is going to look really cool. The neck I'll work on with a Sharpie. I think I'll get more cleaner lines when I come back. Okay, back in a bit. Hi guys. Okay, so she's all dry. So I'm going to put the detail in. Like I said, this is the microcosm. I'm just going to paintbrush and just putting on some black. Yeah, before I go in camera so you can see me what I'm doing. Just put a layer of black acrylic on. You could do this with ink, but I get a much better impression with acrylic. Put that down. Magic. Okay, let's do another flower. Remember, I can do this off the doll, so because I'm going to cut her out. Let's do that one. Perfect. Now, I got this one from CatCur. I thought I'd do this one too and add a bit of pattern. I really like this. I can't remember what this one's called. I'll put the link on the bottom. So I think I'm going to do there. Perfect. And you know what? Where the stamp didn't, kind of looks like a top of a top, like a perfect. There. So that's that done. Inner eye. On her lip. If I want to kind of go over and make some dots, I can do that too on the surface. I can also do that. And then with my black Posca, I can go around and just fill in the shape if I want to. Right, I'll let this dry and then we'll come back and sew. Dry. Unplug that and put that on the floor. On the way. Okay. Move my sewing machine in. Make sure you can see. Yes. Okay, so I've threaded it up with green, but you can do any colour you want. Okay, sorry, I just realised I've got to cut it first. Okay, so I'm going to get the two pieces together. Make sure you're in focus. Okay. I am going to get some pins just to pin it while I'm cutting so the pieces stay together and don't wriggle around while I'm cutting. I'm using Secateurs secateurs. Where are you? There you are. And I'm just going to get as close to the black edge. Doesn't matter if I leave a little bit, because that helps when I'm sewing. Around her head. Okay. You can get a bit closer, and if you haven't got pinking scissors, you can just use normal scissors to cut this out. Can you hear my dogs barking for having a paddy? Okay, so there she is, ready to sew. Now I'm going to pick out what I want to put on the back. So I got a few bits of material, and I have put them all together on a strip of the waist, and I think I'm going to sew them on like that. And on the back you can also put a little pocket and a few things and words. I'm going to cut out a couple of hearts in felt. There's one, and let's see, let me cut another one out. That's that pink would go really nice. Scissors. Put this one on first so I can get a little outline. So I get an outline of the heart, and that's going to go perfect. I think just there. So I'm going to put a pin so I know where it's going to go, and hopefully it will stay in place. Remember, I'm only sewing it on to the one layer, because I'm going to separate these in a minute so I can. Right, so I'm going to separate them, and I'm going to sew this one, the heart, onto this one with fingers, and I'm going to sew the material onto the back of this one. We're ready to go. Let me put this in place so you can see me. This has got some fancy stitching, but you can use straight stitch and zigzag if that's all you've got. So I'm going to just move that over a bit. I'm just going to use a straight stitch, which is easiest, which is number 2. Let me turn my foot over. Actually, let me take the pin out. It's easier to work without it. And I can sew these on. And as I said, I've got a green. Oh, oops! And it's already threaded itself, and this is like a pea green, but you can use any colour you've got. Thread. Thank goodness for automatic threaders. I'd be here forever. Even longer than I already am. Okay. I'll make sure you're still recording, yes. Okay, I'm just going to go around, keep the you could sew this by hand as well. She is adaptable to hand sewing. Okay, that's that done. trimming the ends off. Okay, and in the back. It's kind of pretty on the back too. Quite like the back. You can add fancy stitching round if you've got fancy stitching. So as I have, I'm going to put some fancy stitching on the front. So the fancy stitching is 23. 23. I'm going to go round the flowers in fancy. You can just go crazy if you want to go crazy. If you've got a machine that can do free sewing, then you can do that. Or you can just leave it, or you can do it with embroidery thread and add some stitching to it. As I said before, this is the time you get to do whatever you want to do. This is your art doll, and she can be exactly how you want her to be. Oh, looks like I lost half of it, but that's okay. I've got half of it going round. For some reason, tension must be a bit tight on the machine. It doesn't like it, and it's being awkward. Isn't that always the way? When you're on camera. Stop messing about. Okay, so I've done a little bit of stitching. That's what I'm going to do. I want to get on and show you. Oh, I've got to sew this on. Same deal. Let's move this back to a normal stitch. Let's do that. I'm just going to quickly just stitch this down over. Actually, I'm going to turn it over so I can see what I'm doing. Is take my pin out so I don't jam everything up. Simple. Get all the ends off. Okay, so that's that. Right, now we are not turning them inside out. The nice thing about this, you sew them up and they're ready. So I'm putting backs like that. I'm going to pin her so she doesn't wriggle around as I'm sewing. A zigzag works best around, but if you've got a straight stitch will work too. So I'm going to do a straight stitch and then I might go round again. Remember, we've got to leave the bottom open. Yes, you can see. So we can stuff her. And let's sew her up and get her ready to go to the party. And I'm following that black line as best I can. Oh, why am I not moving? Got stuck. Let's start again. Take two. Take two. Let's do this again. Okay. Things together. Yeah. That's it. Sometimes you have to baby it a little bit. Make sure it's working. Yes, stitching. That bit of it's coming forward. Keep the needle in, and then you can lift it and turn it. Black line round, pin out the way. Needle in, turn it round. Way, pin out. Yeah, I have to keep checking I'm in camera. Just clip all the ends off. Give you time to go and just clip all the ends off of her. Although I do like some ends on her. Right, now we're going to stuff her. she's ready for her close-up.